Mega Man. On this channel, I've played a few of his games. Some just standard runs, others were special challenge runs, like the randomizer I did of Mega Man 2, or the dual link I did of Mega Man's 3 and 4, which never got finished for a couple reasons. But one form we have not explored yet is board games, or one might more specifically say a card game. This is definitely more of a card dice rolling game. There's no actual boards whatsoever. In this game, you can play with 1 to 4 players, and the objective is to complete a campaign of 3 stages in order to defeat Dr. Wily's robot masters and then make it to the end. Each player can choose between the 4 characters, Mega Man, Roll, Rush, and Proto Man, each with their own specialties. They each have their own deck of cards. I am going to be using Rush, and their deck determines their unique actions. Each character has distinctions from the others. Mega Man is designed to be balanced and not rely excessively on dice rolls. He has some card results that are a bit more guaranteed for getting what you want, but can also be a little bit weaker than dice rolls as a result. Roll is also meant to be fairly balanced and has abilities to get more weapon energy. Rush is more of a support character, but from what I've experimented with the characters, I do like him because he can heal, and he also has a bit more freedom with his dice. And then Proto Man is high risk, high reward. He provides more dice and stronger abilities than the other characters, but his effects are also costly, such as providing himself or an ally with more dice, but in exchange for that, he also damages himself or his ally, adding a bit of cost to his otherwise stronger abilities than the other characters. So let's get things set up. I have it half set up, but let's just get everything arranged and we'll dive into it. Okay, so here we have all of our supplies. We have our character standee and our character board. We have our character deck. Like I said, each character has their own individual deck. We have our weapon energy. We have this that I didn't know this was sitting there, so I'll just put it there. Oh, it almost rolled off the table. I put it there for the time being. I have my reference card that explains everything I need to know. I have all the decks that we'll be needing. We have these items here which can be drawn for bonuses. We have our little energy tank that we can use to heal ourselves. This is useless in a single player game, but I grabbed it anyway. This is just to mark who's first. And we have our marker for our health. We have all of our different decks. There's also a sabotage deck for cards that give disadvantages, because there are difficulty settings you can play with. 4 settings. I'm going to be playing on normal because I haven't beaten this game before, but I also feel like easy isn't necessary. I would rather not do it on easy. So the first thing we need to do is draw from the boss deck. I've already shuffled the cards. Actually, first thing we need to do is select our starting weapon. There are 4 starting weapons that you can get, and you draw your weapon card randomly. We got item 2, which can provide a yellow dice roll. There's also magnet beam, item 1, and the Mega Buster for starting items. Let's put those over there. Now we need to draw the bosses. We've got Hardman, Sparkman, Woodman, and Heatman. This gives us information about the stage that we have to beat. And on the back, we can look at information about the boss. I don't want to look at the boss, so let's see, what have we got? We've got the Hardman card. He has the 1-on traps, which makes it so the middle and right challenge spaces each gain 1 damage. So if I fail the challenges, which will be explained in a moment, I take extra damage. So Hardman just hurts you a lot. Sparkman. Sparkman has rising platforms. A double run and double jump may not be used to overcome time icons. Time icons mean that you have to use 2 of any icon to overcome them.
which again, we'll explain this stuff as we go. So that just makes things hard, challenges hard, specific types of challenges harder to overcome. We've got Woodman with the hot dog. The left and middle challenges deal extra damage. Similar to Hardman, just affects different challenges. And we've got Heatman, who changed the left challenge space on each stage card to this alternate challenge, which is very dangerous. That's rough. So let's see, of these, you know what? I want to try Sparkman. Sparkman seems fun. So, we place Sparkman. Let me reposition that. So we'll place Sparkman up here. And now, I gotta check the rules to find out how many stage cards I need for single player play. Okay, I need 4 stage cards, which are this deck. These represent the stage. These cards will have challenges on them that we have to overcome with our dice. If we clear the stage, then we get to fight the boss. And if we defeat the boss, we clear that round. And a campaign of this game consists of 3 rounds. Complete all 3 rounds, and you win the game. So we need 4 stage cards. We will put these up here, face up. So these are the challenges that we need to clear. Here's our first stage card. If you look at the top, that shows the dice results that we need to overcome that challenge. And the bottom shows what happens if we fail the challenge. If we fail the first challenge, we'll take 2 damage. If we fail the second challenge, we'll take 3 damage. But if we succeed the second challenge, we'll get to draw an item box, which can come with various advantages. And if we fail the third challenge, we take 1 damage. Even if you fail a challenge, you still proceed. And if you complete all 3 if you get through all 3 challenges on the card, you discard that stage card and you go to the next stage card. If you can survive through all of the stage cards, then you make it to the boss. If any player runs out of energy, however, then it's game over. And you only have 5 energy. So this 1 card, if I failed all these challenges, would drop me down to 1 health. Even if you can't clear a challenge, though, you still move on to the next one because much like in the video game, it's intended to represent that you basically ran through it or you were able to get through the challenge, but you took damage along the way, whereas completing the challenge means that you got through it without taking any damage, just like in the video game. Okay, so now that everything is set up, we need to draw our cards. I'm just gonna move some stuff out of the way for a second so we can see our cards. I already shuffled this, so at the start of the turn, we draw 4 cards. We have Energy, Rescue, Rush Jet, and Energy. Let's take a look at these cards real quick. If you look at our card, the top icon represents what type of dice the card will supply us if we place it on one of our support slots. And if we place the card on our skill slot, then the effect on the bottom can be used during our turn. And the little box that shows a weapon energy in the top, that blue thing, that's the cost to use the skill. Some skills don't cost anything, but some do. So we'll have to spend a weapon energy, and then we could heal 2 energy, either to ourselves or to allies if we had them. The skills and such are usually unique to the character, so each character has their own things going for them. Now, the dice colors do matter because there are 3 dice colors, and each color has a higher probability of rolling certain results. The yellow dice has the highest probability of rolling run icons and can also roll a double run icon. The red dice is the same but for shoot icons. The blue dice is the same but for jump icons. And things are color coded, so it's easy to remember that stuff. If you look at the challenge conditions on the top of these cards, they're all color coded to the dice. So it's easy to remember which dice is useful for what. So if we look at this card, we need 2 jump. For this, we need a run and a jump. For that, we need a run. For this, we need 4 shoot icons. Because of Sparkman making it so we cannot use running or jumping to clear a time icon. The time icon, the hourglass, if you will, that means that you have to use 2 icons of any type. It just has to be a pair of 2 of the same icon. But because of Sparkman, we can't use run or jump, so it would have to be shoot. So this will require 4 shoot icons. That will be difficult because we only have blue and yellow dice to choose from here. However, because we are playing alone, actually I need to double check when I do the Dr. Light deck. Okay, it looks like we draw these now. So since there's only one of us, we draw 4 Dr. Light cards. If you're playing with 3 or 4 players, you don't use the Dr. Light cards at all. These are just designed to give you extra cards because you don't have other players providing you with cards, which we'll explain in a second. So we've got these 4 cards that will provide us more blue and yellow. We need red, so those are not the most useful. Also, if you look at the Dr. Light card on the bottom there, it shows a colored die and a damage icon, meaning if you don't match that color to the card you play, you take damage for receiving this. So let me think for a minute about what I want to do. Okay, my first turn is going to be looking like this. One of those cards is just completely covered in glare, so you can't see it at all. That is not the best. So this is my starting step. This card is still in my hand. This is the 4th card that I didn't use. So what we do is we put 2 of the cards from our hand into our support slots. Left support, right support. These will provide those dice to us. So we'll get 1 blue dice, 1 yellow dice. If we were playing with other players, then the player to my left would also receive a blue dice, and the player to my right would also receive a yellow dice. So that's part of the strategizing you have to consider when playing this game with other people, is not only what dice do you need, but what dice can you provide for your teammates. That's what the Dr. Light cards are effectively represent. They are basically the cards from the dice from other players that you're receiving, but with some restrictions, such as taking damage if you don't match. So this needed to be paired with a blue dice, otherwise I would have taken damage. This needed to be paired with a yellow dice, otherwise I would have taken damage. And then down here, I chose one of my cards to use for its skill. So I can spend a weapon energy to heal 2 damage. And the 4th card stays in my hand. This is my boost card, which can provide me with extra dice. So for starting my turn, I have 2 blue dice, 2 yellow dice. So I roll 2 yellow dice and 2 blue dice, and we see what results we get out of these. We have a double run, a double jump, and a single run. Not terrible, but not really great. So now we move our standee over to the stage, and we try to clear the challenges 1 at a time. So what we've got, the first one has a run and a jump. I can do that. I can spend my run and my jump. Now, if you have a double dice and you only spend it for 1 icon, you still have to spend the whole thing. So I'm having to use a double jump icon to resolve just 1 jump. But, that's what I've got, so that's what I have to work with. So that challenge is cleared. This challenge, on the other hand, there's no way I could clear that. I would have needed to get 4 shoot icons to clear that, partly because of Sparkman. So there's nothing I can really do about that. Now I could use my boost card. That would get me an extra yellow dice, but that's not going to help me. That got me a jump, whatever. That's not useful. The boost cards, though, you can use on anybody's turn to give anybody extra dice. So that's something to consider. Do you want to use it for yourself, or do you want to use it for somebody else? There's a little bit more thought to it with multiple people. When you're playing it by yourself, it's literally just use it whenever you can to just get an extra dice. The only reason to not use it right away is basically if you don't have enough dice, because you're limited to the physical dice in the game. So if you've already used 3 yellow dice, you can't roll another yellow dice unless you want to re-roll one of the ones you already have. So here we take 3 damage. And then we move on to the next challenge. And I'm going to use my skill. You can use your skill once per turn. So that costs 1 weapon energy to heal 2 damage. And then the last challenge is just a run icon. So I use my double run to clear that. And now this stage is cleared, and we move on to the next stage. The next stage card has these challenges. And if we get through all 4 stage cards alive, then we make it to the boss battle. Now all the cards get discarded, and we repeat. That's the game. And if we were playing with multiple people, then it would be the next player's turn to do their stuff, and so on. And once we went around the entire circle, then we would clean up and discard everything. Okay, my next 4 cards. This is much more promising. So here we have our new hand. These dice can be used for anything. I get to choose which dice I want it to be. And same with the Dr. Light cards. They can be paired with anything. So now we draw our 4 Dr. Light cards, 2 of which we will be choosing, 2 of which will be discarded. We've got lots of blues and yellows again. What do we need? We need a shoot. This has again, the hourglass has to be double shoot because of Sparkman. So we need a total of 4 shoots, 2 jumps, and 1 run. So we want to prioritize red. So what I think I want to do is put that here. What skill do I want? I only need 1 run. So I think I'll put that there. And this here, whatever. And we'll get an extra jump. And a run. These get discarded. It's just a numbers game. Like, I say jump and run, but those might not be jump and run. Every dice has every icon on it. It's just the different colors have higher probabilities. So, we have a yellow dice, a blue dice, and 2 of our choice, which I'm going to choose 2 red because I need more shoots this turn than anything else. I dropped both of the reds. Oh no! I dropped both of the important ones. So here is our board for this turn. So let's roll our dice. We've got jack shit. We've got a jump, a run, and a shoot. The first challenge is just a shoot. I'm going to use my shoot dice to clear that. And because it has the icon there, I get to draw a random one of these. Let's see what we've got. An energy. That heals me 1 energy. We're back up to 5. Now, this next one, because of Sparkman, that needs 1 jump and 3 shoots. 1 jump, 3 shoots. Shoot. I'm going to use my boost to roll a red dice. Okay, that's 1 shoot, but it needs 3 shoots. I can use this to give up a run for both a red dice and a blue dice. So I can get rid of this run to do that, but then I might not be able to clear that next one, and that's a big gamble. Because those don't both land on shoot, or the red doesn't land on the double shoot, then I won't be able to clear that anyway. And I'll be out, and I'll probably be out my run as well. That's a risk. You know what, normally I don't think I would take that risk. But, because this is a video and we want some tension, let's take that risk. So I'm going to use my skill. I think I'm supposed to discard it afterwards, whatever. So I'm going to use my skill transform. So I can spend 1 run to get a red dice and a blue dice. I need either both of these to land on shoot, or I need the red die to land on double shoots. Otherwise, this doesn't help me at all. We got shoot and jump. I still need one more shoot. And now I can't clear that either, and if I get hit by both of those, I'll die. But I have my energy tank to use if needed. I'm going to use my special weapon, my item 2. At any time you can use your special weapon, spend a weapon energy to get its effect. That is a yellow die. I would like a shoot, but even if I don't get a shoot, so long as I get a run, I can at least clear the next challenge. That is a run. So, we're just gonna take that. So I cannot clear this because if it weren't for Sparkman, I could. Because I have enough jumps. I could spend 3 jumps and 1 shoot to clear that. But Sparkman is really screwing me, making it so I can only overcome hourglasses with shoot icons. So, we take 3 damage. We move there. We can spend a jump and a run to get past Crab Guy. Discard this. We move on to the next stage, which requires a shit ton of shoots. Holy crap, this card is going to require 2 jumps and 5 shoots. I don't think that's happening. Let's put Rush right there and set things up. Okay, drawing our next 4 cards. We need a miracle at this point, I feel like. We've got these. Okay, a lot of red. That's good. That's what we need. Also might need the healing. Definitely don't want to be using this skill because that will cost us health. We're not doing so good on health right now. Let's check our Dr. Light cards. Let's move that discard pile for a second. We've got those for the Dr. Light cards to choose. Let me think. I definitely want this up here. I definitely want... Well, I don't know about definitely. Let me think. I can put this here to get more red. I can put this here. And then pair that with that to get a blue. And then, honestly, I just need as much red dice as I can get. So I'm going to put that there. I would love to be able to heal myself, but I just need to succeed on this, honestly, I feel like. Or my position is just going to be hot garbage. So for my cards, or my dice, I am going to be rolling 3 red and 1 blue. And that is absolutely atrocious. We've got a jump, a run, a shoot, and a run. We don't need runs. Runs do nothing for us here. Literally nothing. So these are useless. First challenge is just a shoot. We can get past that. Do we? Yeah, wait. Yeah, we want to do that. So, move on to the next one. We need 2 shoots and 2 jumps. We have 1 jump. I am going to use my boost to roll a red. That's 1 shoot. I need to double check something real quick. Okay, real quick. No! Okay, one thing that had slipped my mind, but I don't know what, if anything, that would have really affected, but one thing that slipped my mind is at any point when you're doing stuff, you can spend 1 weapon energy that you have to, instead of using your special weapon, you can re-roll some of your dice. Was it 1 dice or any of your dice? Was it any? Or was it just 1? Whatever. Anyway, where was I? All right, you can also. So we're limited to the physical dice, but you may, if you use a card or a skill to roll a dice, but there aren't any dice left, you can re-roll as well. So I'm going to use my skill to roll a red. There's no red dice left, so I'm going to re-roll this one. Actually, I'm gonna double check that rule, that re-roll rule real quick. Okay, wait, no, that was not a double. This was run. This was shoot. So yeah, it allows me to re-roll any number of dice. So I'm going to spend my weapon energy to re-roll these 2 useless runs. Hopefully get more shoots and just anything useful. So I actually have not used this yet. I want to do this first. So we're out of weapon energy. You only get 3 weapon energy for each weapon that can be used either for those re-rolls or to use your special weapon. Okay, there we go. A double shoot and a shoot. Okay, now we're screwed on the jumps. So that really doesn't help too much, in all seriousness. But now I can use my skill to roll a blue die and hopefully get a jump. We got a shoot. Well, now I just have way too many shoots. So, I still can't overcome that after all that effort, because now I'm short on jumps, of all things. But now I have plenty of shoots. I have all the shoots I need, but I don't have the jump that I need. So, I'm still going to take 3 damage from that, which will kill me, but I have my energy tank. At any point that you would take lethal damage, you can use your energy tank to restore your health up to full, but it must be used before you take damage. So I go up to 5 and then take the 3, bringing myself back down to 2. I get to that. I have plenty of shoots. That requires 2 shoots. I have plenty of shoots to clear that. So I clear this, get an icon. I get a weapon energy. So now I get 1 weapon energy. And the maximum weapon energy you can have on any of your 3 weapons is 3. And as you defeat more bosses and get further in the game, you get additional special weapons to use. So now we've cleared this stage card, we're on to the 4th and final stage card, which looks like this. We're going to be needing a total of 3 runs, 2 jumps, and because of the Sparkman stage condition, we're going to be needing 2 shoots. So a little bit of everything, which makes strategizing kind of difficult in a sense. So let's discard our cards and draw 4 more, which are the last 4 in our rush deck. That gives us some variety and our 4 Dr. Light cards. And at any point in the game, if a deck runs out of cards, you just reshuffle the discard pile into the deck and then continue on. So you can never draw out. What do I want? I need a little bit of everything, is the thing. So I'm going to have blue, yellow, and then red, red and red, sure. And for my skill, I want Rush Jet, which is dangerous because it'll hurt me to use, but at this point I gotta start taking some chances. So first challenge is right there. Let's see, we need 2 red dice, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. We got run, shoot, shoot, and jump. This requires 2 shoots and 2 runs. We have the 2 shoots. That's a red. I'm gonna boost first. I'm going to use my boost card first. It's just an extra red die. I don't really need red, but maybe I'll get lucky and get something I need out of this without having to use up my special weapon energy, at least not yet. We got another shoot. That's completely useless. So I'm going to use my special weapon to get this. Hopefully I get a run. That is really what I need. I also need jump, which I don't have. So yeah, I'm basically screwed here. Either way, so actually, no, I need this to be, I'm rolling a yellow, but I need it to be a jump, because I need 2 jumps, and I can get the run another way. That is a run. So yeah, that's game over, because I can clear this, wait, it might not be. It depends on what my item is. I can clear this, 2 runs, 2 jumps, the double shoot to clear the hourglass. So we clear that. The next challenge, I can clear that with my jump. I get one of these. This one. That is a jump. Perfect. This little icon is a jump icon. I can now flip my jump icon. Each character has these 3 icons at the top of their card, and those can be used at any time for a guaranteed whatever it is, either jump, shoot, or run. And these can be saved for future turns, so if you don't need these, you can save them. Whereas with your dice, you don't get to save your dice. At the end of your turn, you lose any of your dice that you rolled that turn, so you can't accumulate dice for challenges later on, but you can accumulate these if you happen to not need them. So now we go to this, and this requires a jump and a run. We have the jump there. We can use our rush ability to spend 1 health, bringing us down to 1, but it allows us to flip both our run and our shoot. And if we had other players with us, we could distribute this to other players if we desired, because again, Rush is a support character. He's designed to not only help himself, but help his allies. So now, we can clear this last challenge by spending both our run token and our jump token, getting us through that stage, and now we have an extra shoot token going forward, but we're only at 1 health. Okay, so we have cleared Sparkman's stage, and now we have to go fight Sparkman himself. So we flip the card, and now we have the Sparkman card. On this card, it says his special effect, and how many cards he needs, and what his skull icons represent. Honestly, that is not the worst challenge in the world. The last pattern card does extra damage, because if we take any damage, we're done. First of all, we have to reshuffle our rush deck because it has run out of cards. I'm gonna go do that over here real quick, just because there's a better surface. I can't shuffle well on the frickin' placemats. It slides around and it messes with trying to shuffle with the cards. I need just a nice solid uncovered surface to shuffle the cards well. And one could assume that maybe I'm cheating over there and not believe me. I'm not cheating, but one could assume that. But even then, how am I going to cheat when I don't even know what I'm going to be needing? I could set it up to where I get specific things, but those specific things might not be the cards I end up needing. So if we look at Sparkman, he has a little 5 in the corner. That is how many boss pattern cards we need to clear in order to defeat him. These are roughly the same as the stage patterns, except there's more of them, and we only get to see 1 pattern at a time. So we can't really plan ahead. This is our first challenge. Just a single shoot. If we fail, we take a damage, and there's an engage effect. So when we engage in this, we immediately discard 1 weapon energy or any bonus icons if able. And that's right when it starts. And then if we clear that challenge, we draw the next, that goes away, we draw the next one. And if we get through all 5 of these cards, we defeat Sparkman and make it through to the second stage, where everything resets and we draw a new boss, but we will be going into it with Sparkman's weapon as our second weapon, and we also get healed and everything. It basically resets the game, but you're picking up later in the campaign. So, let's draw our cards, and let's draw our Dr. Lights. There are only 2 Dr. Lights left. What's that? That's an extra rush card that somehow didn't wind up in the deck. I'll just put that in there. It doesn't matter. We're not going to be needing that anyway. We draw these 2, and we're now out of Dr. Light cards, so I need to go shuffle this real quick. And then draw 2 more. Now here's the tricky thing is, I know I need a shoot to clear that. But other than that, I don't know what I'm going to be needing to be getting through the rest of these boss patterns. In fact, I don't even know, I would have to double check this, but I don't even remember if I was supposed to even flip it the first one until I chose my cards. So whatever. I can't really use these because these will both, well, for their skills, because they'll both hurt me. This is definitely going in the skill slot so I can get a dice of my choice later on if needed. And then honestly, I think I'm just going to do this Wait, I can't do that. I would have liked to keep this as my bonus card, but none of these are blue. So I would take damage and die instantly from getting the Dr. Light card. So I have to use this and this, which is extremely unfortunate. I would have really liked to be able to save that bonus card to get whatever dice I need in any specific circumstance. So we'll put yellow there, we'll get a blue there, and we'll make this a red. Just so we have one of each, so we have some balance going into this. So 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 2 red. I'll do 2 red just because I know this first challenge is a shoot. Wait. I'm going to make that into a yellow. Because this little thing down here with the skull, some of the boss pattern cards have skull icons, and the skull icon is determined by the skull effect of the boss. Bosses also have weaknesses, but I don't have any special weapons that have weakness characteristics anyway, so whatever. Okay, we've got 1 to shoot, 1 jump, 1 run, and another jump. So we've got 2 jumps, a run, and a shoot. We've got our bonus card, our skill if we need it. Let us engage against Sparkman. Rush versus Sparkman. It starts, and that effect goes off, so I lose this. That engage effect where I have to either lose 1 weapon energy or 1 of any icon. So immediately that goes to waste. And now I can spend my shoot to clear this boss pattern card. That gets discarded. The next boss pattern card comes up. It is basically the same thing, except it's a skull. I have none of that stuff to discard though, so the engage effect doesn't happen. So it is 1 skull, which for Sparkman is a run. I have a run. Discard the run card. Move to the next one. The next card is a jump and a shoot. I have a jump. I don't have a shoot. I'm going to use my skill card to roll a red die and hopefully get a shoot. I got a shoot. So I can spend 1 jump and 1 shoot to move to the next boss pattern. I don't think I'm gonna, no, my God. So a run and a double, I can't. That's game over. I have 1 jump and a blue, which I could roll. Even if I got a double jump or a double run, I still wouldn't be able to spend for both of those because I need a total of 3. 1 run for the skull and then 2 of something else. And it's impossible to get that from 1 dice. So I would take, so it doesn't matter what I could roll this. I can use that, I can roll that, I get a jump, I can clear the hourglass, but I still can't clear the run. So I take 3 damage, and that's game over. So Rush is defeated by Sparkman. It does the explosion, pew, 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 pew. The Mega Man explosion. And that's it, because I was defeated, the game ends. And even if there were other players here, the game would end. Because just 1 player hits 0 health, the game is over. I don't feel like it would be a super long game though, if everybody knows what they're doing and you're going through it rather quickly. A lot of the time I think would come from strategizing, especially if you have 4 players. Then you'd have to be strategizing, deciding where to send your support cards and stuff like that. But when you're by yourself, it's just what do I need? That's all you have to worry about. And that is Mega Man Adventures, the board game, card game, dice game. I just like calling it a board game. That's simple, gets to the point. There's no real board, but whatever. It's also, I feel, not really so much of a card game, not really so much of a dice game. It interchanges the cards and dice so much that I feel like just call it a board game. I feel like that's simpler. And we could keep going until we win, but it doesn't change a whole lot. That's pretty much the game. That showed you the gist of it. It does change a little bit between rounds. There are some slight rule variations in regards to how much health you start with, how many energy tanks you start with based on difficulty and number of players. And there's also some slight changes with the final round. Most notably that instead of drawing from the Robot Masters, you draw from the Wily Boss deck, which I think are just stronger enemies. But by that point, you also have more tools available because from the first 2 rounds,
you're collecting special weapons. If I defeated Sparkman, I would have gotten Sparkman's special weapon. All other players would have gotten the special weapon from the boss they defeated. Then you go to the second stage, try to defeat a second boss, so you have 3 special weapons going into the final stage. But that's pretty much it. See you next time. That ending sucked.